Trocco is our tool name. It's a branding tool branding. Company name is the prime number. It's a headquarter in Japan, and we are presently it's a 9 years plus company in Japan. This January we started the expansion in India, and that's where we all are here. Me, Monsi, Prateek, and everybody is here. And our goal is to make India as a global hub for the rest of the world, minus Japan, because Japan and there is one more country is Korea, where we have this year we have started the expansion. So Japan and Korea, because of some language issues, because people may not understand the English properly. So these two countries maybe will be separated out from the rest of the world, but then India may become the global hub. That is what is our vision. And we started this journey from India this January onwards. In Japan, we have already 1,000 plus happy customers. Actually, it's more than that, 1,000 plus. But just we have added, we have mentioned only the 1,000 plus customers, but we have close to around some 1,500 plus customers in Japan. And these customers are coming from the various verticals. We have recently got the funding, I think Series C funding, which we have got it for expansions to the world. If you see what are the main businesses, the Trocco on the left hand side, which you can see the first block is the Trocco, which is our tool. It's a low-code, no-code platform, which is available for all the three countries, Korea, Japan, and here. PN, which is a second block, prime number is a service, which is basically offering the data consultancy, and then we are providing the customers that what type of the data warehousing solutions they should choose. And in case if the customer has any opinion for implementation of that data warehousing, then our team is actually getting into that. And of course, we are adding a layer of the Trocco platform on top of it so that we can orchestrate and their entire data platform. Cometa is the new services. Again, it's only for the Japan. So second block and the third block is only for the Japan. Cometa, where actually it is developed the separate data cataloging services. So it's not in the Trocco platform, we already have a data cataloging, but some of the customers are looking only data cataloging feature. And that's where, it has been developed as one separate services, which is the Cometa. And it is offering to the customers who is looking only the Cometa as a service, not as a full platform. So these two, second block and the third block, is only for the Japan. And we are talking only about the first product or the first block, which is the Trocco. Trocco, by the way, the meaning of the Trocco is it's a cart, which is actually bringing the valuable things from your mining. As I said, we started the operations in India, but we are presently, it's a 9 years plus old company in the Japan, and then we have recently started expansion in Korea and India. And we also have the few people in the Middle East, and just understanding the Middle East market, so that once probably we'll start the journey in India, then we can start looking the expansion also to the Middle East. But right now, since we do not have any offices in Middle East, so that's why it is not mentioned. But we have a few people in the Middle East. If I talk only about the Trocco tool is a very powerful tool. Though we have a very limited feature, but it's a very powerful tool. And what we do is basically we create and we allows the users to create a data pipeline. Usually, when you use any hyperscale technologies to create the data pipeline, or if you write your own Python code, it takes a lot of time. Why it takes a lot of time is because when you create on the hyperscale, it's not that you will just simply start going and deploying your pipeline directly. You have to create the multiple VPCs, you have to set up your account, then set up the VPCs, and inside the VPCs, then you have to deploy the multiple applications, and then you have to put all the security things. You might have to connect the multiple VPCs, uh, and then only it will start creating your data pipeline. At the same time, when you have to start writing your own Python codes, it takes a lot of time for people to make the Python code. Usually, the challenges generally people face is, what if that you started creating the pipeline with some version of the some database version. Let's say if I take an example of the MS SQL 2012, but after 6 months of time, because of the some issues or maybe because of the some new versions of the Microsoft SQL has come in, and then your customer has upgraded to 2019, then you may require to again make some tweaking changes. Then again you have to go back and then make the changes in your codings or make the changes on the platform, right? So it takes a lot of time sometimes to people to create the data pipeline and they manage the data pipeline. So we allows you to create the data pipeline. We have the 100+ type of the connectors, which probably I'll show it to you in the demonstration time, which you can see that. And we have the some of the very good features that is also probably I'll show it to you during the demonstration time to fetch out the data from the using the APIs and all. The connectors which is not available, in case if you find that yes, that is a very useful case studies for you to consume or you to propose to your customer, you can put up the request and our team will develop the connectors free of cost for that. Second thing is the transformations. We have added the lot of the transformations script by default is available, and that's why we call it as a low code no code, where I will allow you to do a data transformations on my platform. And this is the only when you are defining your all the transformations, we are not going to save any of the customer data. We just only load the data only for doing a transformation time, and that is a very small amount of the data so that you can understand how is your data has been captured on your primary site, on the source side, and then what transformation you have to allow. And once your transformation has been saved, then we start writing it to your destination. So we allow you to transform the codes. If you find that okay, these are the transformations are not good enough, then we have also given an options to write your own Python codes, and you can put your own Python codes and it will execute all the transformations activities in a sequence. The next block is the orchestrations. So we have a very good features called as a workflow. In the workflow, like I'll take an example. In case if in any of the organizations, you might have seen that the multiple organizations many of the organization has the multiple departments: accounting departments, finance department, then engineering department, or the pre-sales, sales. So multiple departments. And if you are creating the workflow for each department wise, you can execute each workflow separately. But if you think that okay, just as it is a reporting purpose, you wanted to execute all the workflows in one together, then you can create a one nested workflow or maybe a one master workflow for an organization and keep that master workflow as a one single workflow, and then inside that you can keep all the department workflows. What is a workflow? Workflow is a combination of your all ETLs and ELT jobs plus DBT integrations plus your notifications. So this is a combination of multiple jobs together, and you are creating a one workflow. So you can easily orchestrate by just drag and drop. It's an empty canvas kind of the things will come up when you are doing your first time. You just drag and drop all your jobs, connect each jobs. Some of the jobs you can define to do it parallelly. Some of the jobs it will run on sequentially. So just keep on adding, your jobs and then save this job. And then you put a scheduler. How you wanted to run those master job or each, the department wise, the workflow, it will execute like that. So you can orchestrate in a very easy manner. Management is, since it's a managed platform, so you do not require any management activities much, because the platform we are offering as a SaaS platform, so it has already included your hosting services, your data transfer services, your uptime and everything. What you have to do is management is, in case if any jobs get stuck or if any jobs is not running properly, or if there is so you have to just go and troubleshoot. Why? Probably it may be running with the SQL 2012 earlier. Now it has to change it to the SQL 2019. there is some schema changes, so you might have to just go and tweak those changes. Or there could be some possibilities of that having some bandwidth, issues at the source site, because in our platform it runs on the AWS, so we do not have any issues on the bandwidth. But there could be possibility that there could some bandwidth issues at the customer side or at your side, or maybe there could be some interruption. It's a temporary interruption, and because of that, the job is not executed properly. So this kind of the small troubleshooting, which you have to do it only on the platform, not on a regular basis. It is only when something is notifying to you that this is not working. Otherwise, you may not require any management from your side. So you can sit peacefully and you can relax. Operate is again as the same way, since it is a complete managed platform. So you may not require any operations team or anything to keep looking the operate part of it. This is a pretty simple and architecture, just to understand that how and on which layer the Trocco works. On extremely left hand side, you can see, I hope you can see my mouse is hovering over there. On the left hand side, you can see that the customers may be having multiple applications, and most of the customers may have some the industry standard databases like SQL. It could be MS SQL, MySQL, Oracle, or the MongoDB. So all those things are supported, but the applications may be having a different nature. And that's what I mean, the database schema would be slightly different than each other applications. So what we can do is basically we allow the people to pick up the data from the sources identified. We pick up the data from all the applications, databases, and then we allows you to do a transformations using my ETL function, extract, transform, and load. And we can load the transform data to your data warehousing solution. We support Redshift, Snowflake, BigQuery, Azure Synapse, and the Databricks. So all popular data warehousing solutions which we support. Then we also support the ETL function. Means it's when you have to pick up the multiple table information. So each table, I mean, let's say if you're picking the one table informations, you can do the transformation easily, because you can check that the preview of the data for that particular table, and then you can define your transformations. But when you are picking up the data for the, let's say, 20 if you're picking the one databases but 20 tables, or the 10 tables, or 13 tables, it's very difficult to preview the data for each table. Then what is the easy way is to use the ETL function to first they load the data to your data warehousing solution, and then start defining your transformations activity. I'll show it to you, and we will be doing a demonstration to you. Now, so this is the one block where we allows you to pick up the data from the multiple sources. The data can be a single table, or it can be a bunch of the table, and we can load the data to your data warehousing solution. We allows you to doing a data cataloging and the data modeling. The functions, I'm sure that you people must be aware of it, because you must be dealing on a daily basis. We'll see what is the data modeling and the data cataloging when we will doing a demonstration. Then we have a DBT integrations. DBT integrations is where actually, if you have a private GitHub repository, and if your codes have been written in the Pythons, you can actually call out those codes as well as part of your workflow. And as part of the workflow, then it will execute those, the codes as well. Now, workflow, as I said earlier, the workflow is a combination of multiple jobs, which is the ETL, ELT jobs, data cataloging, data mart, and everything is a combination of the multiple jobs together. And then you can orchestrate your entire workflow. You can schedule your entire workflow to execute, which will eventually execute each jobs, which is part of your workflow. The one more feature, it's a reverse ETL. It's a same kind of things where in the first block, when you are defining your source and the destination, is the same way you can in the reverse ETL also. You can define your source and destination. There is no separate options has been given. It's a part of the configuration of ETL only. And the thing is that In this case, you have to defining the reverse ETL. Like you are picking the data from your data warehousing solution, and then you wanted to write that data back to your databases. There are the organization who wanted to keep some data, the which is are you have used for data cleaning activity and you have kept it for reporting purpose, and the companies wanted that the kind of the data to keep it at least for the 7 days, 30 days, or 6 months. Then those kind of the data you can write it back to the some of the databases, because now it's a transformed data. It is probably kept it only in the one or two tables, so you have to keep only the one or two tables data only. Then in that case you can keep it for a longer time in your data, any of the databases. Like take an example, if I just wanted to say explain it to you, is customer is picking you are picking the data from the customer's Salesforce account, you are picking the data from their CRM account, and then you are picking the data from the Google Ads just to take a feedback of their product services. Now, when you have created a one single table about the information that, okay, in your Salesforce, you have the thousands plus opportunity, and out of the 1,000 plus opportunities, you have already done the business with, let's say, the 50% of the customers, and those are probably your existing customer. But the ratings for your products have been given like 3 star, 5 star, 4 star, 4.5 star, right? So now this kind of the transformation, when you have done it and you wanted to keep that same data, transform data for a longer time, either you can keep it in the same, your data warehouse solution, or you can start picking the data and keep writing into the Salesforce, so that the data will be stored in your Salesforce. So that's where it's a reverse ETL we are supporting. Then you can connect your data warehousing solution databases to any of your analytical engine, whichever supports your connection to the data warehousing solutions or the databases. You connect your then those applications like Power BI, Tableau, and other stuff, and then start visualizing that data. Same thing, you start connecting your data warehousing solution for the machine learning activities. So this is the plain and simple architecture where I can actually wherever places you can see the Trocco logo. These are the things which we do support currently. Any question?
I think this is good. Like we are getting the exact idea of your umbrella, which is provided by Trocco. So I think we can move further. No issue.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Now, it's a why Trocco. Of course, there are so many tools are available in the market, and it's a very competitive market. But why it is we are saying that why you people should use the Trocco is because it's a ready-to-use product. That is the one thing. There are the many other products are also which are SaaS-based product, but this tool is not a complex. It's a very easy to consume product, and whoever has the basic understanding of the SQL, whoever has the very basic understanding of the Python, even if people may not be having a very good understanding of these two languages, nowadays people can use the chat GPT also to just query, but it's pretty easy to consume, and that's where we say is the Trocco. Another reason for why to people to use the Trocco is because the creation of the data pipeline, when people do a self deployment either on a hyperscale or they start writing their own codes, the creation of the pipeline itself, it takes a huge amount of the time. In a years, generally people may have to spend some 40 hours. This is what based on our analysis. And of course, then they have to use the many more man hours for the maintenance purpose, because when it is going and you are deploying on the hyperscale, you have to maintain the hyperscale infrastructure, and then on top of it, then you have to start managing your own codes as well, right? So that takes a lot of huge time. This can brought it down by 90% when you are using a Trocco. I always give an example for explanation, and I'll put one more example over here. Is that, let's say one of your customer is expecting that you to do the pilot testing or the POC for their environment. How quick and easy it is. Just create an account in Trocco, and start defining your pipelines. And defining each pipeline, you people are already expert. You may not take more than a couple of hours time to define the entire pipeline for entire the organization. Compared to the tools, if you have to use the AWS, you might have to use the multiple applications on AWS, like AWS Glue, crawlers, then connection of the VPCs, setting up that all the public private IPs. Then sometimes the IPs might not work. Then you have to use some different kind of the IPs, right? So those kind of things you have to do, and then you have to defining your jobs, and at the same time you have to spend that much of time for your management of the AWS things. So one of the recent customer where I'm actually talking in Bangalore, they are using some applications which is actually crashing multiple times because their containers is not scaling up properly. So their application doesn't work. And whenever they wanted to report it to their management, they are failed to report. And it's happening, it's a 3-4 times in a week. And that's what I mean, we are in a talk with that customer. So those kind of the things it comes when it's a management purpose. The another thing generally in the IT industries in India is people do the outsourcings to the partners. And if the partner is not available, partner is not giving a response at that point of time, or partner is not managing properly, then it becomes the issues. And that's where I mean this Trocco will help you to reduce your all the the timelines, and you can deliver the projects, POCs, pilots very quickly for any of your customers. These are some of the customers who has agreed to showcase their logos. As I said, I mean, these primarily are in the Japanese-based customers, but there are some of the customers who are globally customers. They're consuming globally, like Mitsubishi Motors. That's a global customer for us. Kyocera is a global customer for us. So these are the customers is not only in the Japan, but they are collecting data from the many more, the territories, including India as well. So, and these are our technologies partners, and some of the partners whom we are consuming, like in a Google GCP partners. So we have the connector for that. We are a partner for AWS. Our entire infrastructure is running on AWS. It's running in AWS Mumbai. We are a partner for Databricks, Salesforce. Even we are a partner for the Snowflakes. Entity Data is our technology partners who is actually selling our services within the Japan and the near about the Japan areas. They're our partner. Entity East, they are also consuming our services, plus they're selling it to their own customers. So these are all our data, the partner across the globe. I'm sure that we'll see your logos also in our presentation sometime next. This is just an importance for the Trocco for the Indian market. So I think I'm done with my slides. In case if anybody has any questions on the slides, you can shoot your questions. I'll try to answer it as much as possible. If not, then probably we can then jump directly to then our, the tool.
If anyone having any question, please ask. Else we will move to the demo.
No, sir. Actually, you made it very clear.
Feel free to ask any question, interrupt me. I mean, I'll try to give the answers, but in case if I'm not, I'll just note down that question and I'll surely come back to you, once probably I'll have the proper answer for you. But please do not hesitate. I mean, I'm sure that you people are more knowledgeable than me. Actually, my background is the infrastructure background. I worked in entity company for 15 years, and I was also from the cloud, the architect on that company. So I may not be having a much answers on the coding standpoint, but I'll try to give the answers as much as possible. If I am not able to give the answers, please excuse me. I'll come back to you. I'll, with the proper answers to you. So, okay. So now with that, let me just go back to the tool, my Trocco tool. Let me sign out. This is my demonstration. My demo account. It is in the Japan. So you people might have got the account ID, which is from in.trocco.io. It's from the AWS Mumbai. This is my account, which is created in the Japan. So, but all the functionality remain the same. So let me sign in. The moment you clicks on the sign in, this is the page. It comes as an organization ID, email ID, and password. Now here, you can have your own master account, and then you can create the multiple child accounts with the different organization ID, or you can have the separate organization ID for all of your customers, including yours as well. So this is the identification of the customer, and this is the identification of the user via the email IDs. So let me use my organization ID, and let me put my email ID. Yeah, so the moment I have given this all the details and I click on the sign in, oops. Okay. Email ID is in red. Just 1 sec. Is this Trocco.id? Okay, sorry. Brand number.co.jp. Okay. So once you give the credentials, it will land you to the first page, which is your dashboard, and it's a pretty simple dashboard. It's no fancy dashboard what we have it. It's a pretty simple dashboard where actually you can see that what you have configured, how many jobs you have configured. ETL, data mart. Data mart is nothing but it's your ELT function. Basically, you are doing a transformation on your data warehousing solution. So this is a data mart. Then we have a workflow, like how many workflows it has been created and how. Then you can have the combination of the multiple jobs. And then the connection configuration. Connection configuration is basically where you are defining your credentials to pick up the data or to write the data. Some applications allows you to pick up the data via user ID and password authentication method. But while writing a data, you might require some key pair authentication. So depending upon the application and depending upon the databases, the way they allows you to set up the credentials, we provide you those options by default. Like in the Snowflake, if I talk about this specifically for the Snowflake allows you to pick up the data via user ID password. You can write the data via user ID password, but while doing a data transformation activity, it does not use the user ID password method for do that. For that, you have to have the key pair authentication method for doing the data transformation or at your Snowflake layer. So that's way, I mean, there are the multiple applications who provides a different kind of the authentication, which we'll see in next. So this is where, I mean, you can see that how many connections you have. Then after that, you can see that how many hour processing time this tool is running. One of the factor for our pricing is that how many hours this platform people are utilizing. We are not charging customers based on the amount of the data which is getting transformed, or we are not charging that how much rows you are transferring from this between source to destination. We are charging based on the number of hours this platform is running. And how do we measure is we measure the how many number of times and number of hours or number of minutes your containers are running. And how do we do that? I'll show it to you when I'll run my first job for you, and then I'll show it to you that how we measure this. But this is a very important factor, that how many hours this platform has been utilized. And that's where, I mean, it's translated back into the billing. So that's where, I mean, we process over here. And then you can see that what is the job durations is running. And then you can see the transfer volumes, how much amount of the data has been transferred, then a high transfer volume jobs in this month, jobs in the last 7 days, which lot jobs have been running. You can see the status, the successful, not successful. If it is then it is it will show it as a red color. Usage of the connectors, and then the supported connectors. So these are it's a pretty simple dashboard where you can see that all these information. Now, on the left hand side, you can see in the data engineering option, I hope this font is visible to all of you. On that left hand side, we have given this the options called an ETL. We have given option as a managed ETL. ETL is where actually you are picking the one table data. Managed ETL is where you are picking the more than one table informations. Data mart is a feature where actually you are defining your own transformations activities on your data warehousing solution. DBT integrations is basically when you are connecting to your private GitHub repository to execute your, your own written codes. So like here, I mean, I've connected to my GitHub repository and then given a name, and I can execute the code what is written over here. Workflow is a combination of multiple jobs together. Like here, it's in Canvas, you can see the multiple jobs have been configured and connected to each other. So some of the jobs will run sequence parallelly, like account to the Google BigQuery, account to the opportunity to Google BigQuery, and then some information I'm pulling from MongoDB, and then some of the jobs are running as a sequence wise. Like after picking the account table and opportunity table, then I'm doing a merge activity and creating a one single table. So that is how it is, and then I'm defining it to the some of the workflows which has been created by Brett as part of my team, and then I'm notifying it to you by on a Slack channel. So these are the things that is running on sequentially. Now, instead of running or scheduling the each jobs, what I can do is I can schedule an entire my workflow, which will execute the jobs who are parallelly configured. So when it is executing a job, like here, I mean, I have the 4 jobs or 5 jobs. The 5 container images will come up. It will execute the job, and then it will delete that container. Then again, the 3 container will come up to execute the 2 container will come up to execute the another jobs. So like that way, the container will spin, it will execute the job, and it will delete the job. On the left hand side, you have the next option is the connection configuration. In the connection configuration, basically, I am setting up my credentials to pick up the data or to write the data. The first connection, what I have it is Google BigQuery. On my Google BigQuery, I have the methods of that Google authentication method. So Google allows to create the 2 type of the authentication. One is the OAuth method, and second via JSON key. So we have the connection via this OAuth. We have given the Google account information. The moment you will give the Google account information over here, you can just go and authenticate, and then once it has been authenticated, it will save the credentials on my platform, and we are using the AWS KMS systems to keep all your credentials securely. Resource group is, I'll show it to you next. Resource group is basically where you are sharing this query, you are sharing these credentials with your team members. Now this resource group, you can create it department wise, you can create it based on the support wise, and then you can have the team members inside this your resource group, and based on their credentials and based on their the read and writes credentials, they can perform the activity. So this is the very important feature. I'll show it to you next. Next feature is the data cataloging, and then we have the yes. In this data catalog, I have configured my Snowflake, so you can see the remaining table informations, the ER diagrams. If the tables have been connected to each other in the particular databases, then you can see the ER diagrams, you can see the column references. This is basically for the metadata. I mean, in case you wanted to query particular things, you can create your own metadata and you can query for that. Then we have a option called as a data lineage. Data lineage is basically for the jobs what you have created on the Trocco platform, like workflows. It can work on a data set or it can work on a tables as well. It's a good informations for people to understand when they are creating the complex the views or the complex workflow for the entire organization, then on which log queries you are doing append activity, it will highlight that. Where all places you are doing a replace activity, it will highlight that. Where all places you are doing a merging activity, it will highlight that. So all those informations will be much easy for people to easily understand their complex, the workflow. Same way, I mean, you can do it for the data sets as well. I mean, the multiple data sets, you can do it, how data sets are interconnected to each other. Then we have options called in a team. So I have explained to Sachin that how he can invite the multiple people, but then in the teams, you can see that I have a multiple teams created, and then inside the teams, I have the multiple, the people who are having the read and write accesses. Now, this is a team I'm creating. It can be, let's say, take an example. Just to explain or simplify to you to understand is, I have created a team. Let's say, it's example only is global team, a team for India, team for the Japan, team for the Korea. If I can create, these are the team members I'm creating, to defining the boundaries that okay, these are the team members are part of the India, Japan, or global or something. But the resource group is basically I'm creating a department-wise resource groups, or I can creating a resource group applications-wise, or I'm creating again one more resource group for my customer-wise, and I'll pick and choose my team members from the global team, or from India team, or from my Korea team, and I can make that team members part of my resource group, so that when I'm sharing any ETL jobs or credentials, I will be sharing with that group who is responsible, irrespective of the teams they belongs to, Japan, Korea, global, or India. So this is the two demarcation of the team and the resource group. Then we have a system management where you can start defining your notification, that how you would like to get notified. So we do support currently the Slack channels, and we do support the email notifications. So these are the two methods we are supporting for notifying to the users for any of the successful or unsuccessful execution of it. External integrations is where actually you are going and defining your GitHub integrations. So you can go and define your own, GitHub access token, Trocco APIs, access keys. Last is the audit logs. Since your account has been created, you can fetch out all the logs that it will fetch out the logs who has logged in. Since I logged in over here, this is a shared platform, so you can see that Mayank has logged in, and then multiple times when Brett has logged in, and same way you can see since this account has been created, right? And you can download those logs. So these are the functionalities for our platform. Now let me just go back and explain to all of you is how easy this platform is for doing picking any data, right? And doing a transfer. So I'll use few examples which is already created. And then probably you can shoot your all queries. But when you are creating a first job, it's pretty easy to just click on the create ETL configurations. It will take you to the page where you have to define your source and the destination. Let's say I'm defining a source as my Salesforce, the destination is my Snowflake, and I'm clicking on the continue. Now this is the same option which you could see on the left hand side, ETL and the managed ETL. Now here, if I choose ETL, I can choose, it will allow me to pick up only one table information. But if I choose the managed ETL, it will allow me to pick up the multiple table informations, right? So let me choose the ETL for the time being now, because I can show you the data transformations activity, what we can do. So the moment I click the ETL, it takes me to the 3 steps. And these are the 3 steps only what you have to configure. It's a low code, no code platform. So a lot of steps are available as a no code, and some of the steps are available as a low code. But before getting into these 3 steps, just make sure that these 3 IPs are whitelisted on your firewall, and you are allowed to pick up the data, right? So that's where, I mean, you have to, these are the 3 public IPs are given by the AWS India team, and you can query, via, some of the tools available, online tools, that this IPs belongs to which service provider. It will tell you. Once this has been, it's a basic, it's a prerequisites. And then after that, you have to start defining your general settings, like what is a ETL job name. You can define notes that why people are creating. What is the purpose of this? I mean, it's just internal notes for your team to just go and refer. Resource group, as I said, is this job. If you want to share it with your team members, you can share the resource group. If you do not want to share with any of the team members, then just leave it as in a blank. Next setting is the data source settings. Now here you are defining that from where you wanted to pick up the data. You have already selected Salesforce as an source. So now it is asking you the Salesforce credentials. Now the moment I pick up my credentials, which is already created in my connection configuration, in case if it appears empty, and if you're not created, click on the add connection configuration. It will take you to the parallel page where you just go and define your credentials. And once this credential has been configured and saved, it will start appearing as a drop down. Select your credentials. Select your objects. If my credentials are correct, it will start listing down all your table informations which has been exposed by Salesforce. Pick up any table. If I am a SQL expert, I can write my own SQL query that within this table, which are columns details you need. And if you're not a SQL expert, select full load objects. Since Salesforce allows you to extract the data with some archival records as well, so we have given options whether you want to extract the deleted or the archived data or not. Next is defining your destination. Like how I have now in destination, I have selected my Snowflake as a destination. So if you do not have the connection for Snowflake, click on add a connection. Again, it will open up another window. And it's a parallel window. Why? Because we do not want you to lose the settings. And that's why it is creating the separate window for that. Now here you can define your methods of authentication for Snowflake. And the moment you have defined and saved it, again, it will start appearing in your drop-down option. Now here in the Snowflake, since as I said earlier, Snowflake allows to create the two type of authentication, user ID password and key pair. So I can use the key pair authentication method for writing data, or I can use my normal user ID password as well. So let's say if I choose my key pair authentication. Okay, so this is error. Okay, this is the moment as an earlier when you have selected the source connector, and if this connector is also right, you can start viewing the warehouses inside your Snowflake account. And if you select any one, it will start showing you the number of databases. You select anything and then a schema or the tables. So schema is public. In case if any table is there, it's okay. Else, you put your own table name. If in the drop down it shows the table name and you wanted to append to the same table, you can choose the same table name. But if it is not showing and if you're giving any new table name, it will create that table first and it will load the data after that. And then below, these are all the options which Snowflake has allowed us to do anything on your tables: append, replace, or upsert. So choose the date, your method of transfer mode. In advanced settings, you can select the empty field as a null or delete temporary storage on error. And this is a very good feature where actually, if any of your customer is saying that, okay, don't pick up continuous data because that creates some load on your source database or source applications. Pick up in a smaller chunks. And that's where, you can define your size of this chunk. So when I was playing my previous role, there was always been a concept of that the elephant packet and the mice packet. An elephant packet, people call it out for the voice packets when we are doing a voice communications. So the all the packets which is transmitting from the source to the destination, those packets we used to be very heavy packets. And the mice packets we call it out as for the your network packets, because mice moves faster than the elephants. And that's where I mean, for any voice communication you require the bigger and the fatty pipe internet connections. But for any data movement or data connections or accessing any applications, you may not require that huge bandwidth. So similar way, if you define the smaller chunks and smaller mice, right, then it will move faster than if you don't select this date things. So choice is yours. It is depending upon your bandwidth. Some customer may say that, okay, you have to complete the projects in a very limited period of time. That at that point of time, probably you might have to remove this capping. If people say that you have to pick up the data in a smaller bits and pieces, you define your, the smaller size of the mice, and then click on to the next. Right. So before I click on the next, let me just go back to one of the ETL jobs which is already configured for Salesforce to Snowflake or the Google BigQuery. Let me just go back. So I'm just going back to the one of the my Salesforce opportunity which I've created. I'm picking the data from Salesforce and I'm writing it to my Google BigQuery. Let me go and click on edit. Pretty much same steps. These IPs are already allowed. I've given the name. I've given some notes. I'm sharing with this ETL jobs with my all the resource group and defining on the basic settings on the sales. I'm using global data as a connection, and then I'm using opportunity table. I selected opportunity table. Since, as I said, I am not a SQL expert, so I'm loading the full objects, and I've selected my Google BigQuery accounts connection. I'm going and writing to my data set which is created only for this my Trocco demo, and I've given this opportunity table name. Let's say I'll change it to the 10 instead of 1. Let me change it to the 10. Since my location is in the US, I selected US. Auto create datasets is disabled, and then I'm using the append query, and high speed options are disabled. I clicked on the next, and let me run this. When you are doing first time, make sure that you are using the run automatic data configurations. What it does, now you can see here, it is preparing to execute. It will pull out some sample data from the opportunity table of Salesforce, and it will show that how the data has been captured in opportunity table, and it will show that the schema also. I mean, schema in the sense is that which table is what format it has been saved. Below that, in the advanced settings, then you can start defining your all transformations activity from the advanced settings. We have given options over here. All the columns will listed over here. I'll let it load for seconds. Now this is also when it is loading a preview. It is just spinning a one container, and it is extracting a data from the opportunity table. Now you can see the columns. Like these are the tables created in the opportunity table. ID is a string, is deleted as a boolean, account is a string, is private as a boolean. So all these things have been defined on your source. And this is the way the Salesforce has captured the opportunity table data over here. So you can see all the columns which has been created in the opportunity table at the source. Now the same columns have been transformed below in the advanced settings. So you can see all your columns details have been captured as in a same data type only listed over here. Now, in case if you want to change some of the data type from string to boolean or timestamp something, the options are available. Now you are defining the pattern for the destination. I'm not doing anything on my source. I'm just defining my destination and how the data has to go in my destination. So you can change your pattern by selecting the any values. You can put your default values. What should be the default values if anything is null, kind of things. If you do not need any particular column, we have given option as a delete. You wanted to reorder something, you can just drag and drop kind of things, right? Some of the columns which is not necessary for you to pull the data, you can delete. Like in the previous screen, we have the two options. If people knows the SQL, they can select that okay, I need a data only for the account table, name and the description. So three column data I needed. So they can write a simple SQL query and it will show the only 3 column data. But since I am not a SQL expert, so it is allowing me to delete the inappropriate columns, which is not required. So when Trocco job will run every time, it will pick up the data only for the 3 or 4 columns, right? So this is the transformation, first transformations. Second transformation is the filter settings. Now you can define your and or conditions. Select the target column, in which column you want to run this query. Like here, you can see the multiple columns are there. And if I just scroll little bit right, I could see there are some opportunities which has been marked as a closed one, prospective, qualification, and all those things. So choose your filter criteria. Like I wanted only the informations which is the closed and won. I'll create one more pipeline or one more ETL job where I can see only the data which is only for under the qualification stage. So if any CIO wants that data, okay, tell me that how many jobs have been or how many job opportunities are in the closed and won stage, you have the data table. How many opportunities are in the qualification stage, you have the table. You can pick up the data from like that, those tables, right? Like that way. So like that way, you can define your and or conditions. Tell me the opportunity which is closed in one stage or closed stage belongs to the Delhi region. So you can add, I can add the multiple conditions, 1, 2, 3, 4, and many. And those conditions can be AND condition or conditions. We have given the multiple operators over here. You can define that, okay, I need the data which has been closed stage from the Delhi region, but higher than a $1 million. You put up the filter value, it will capture only that kind of the data, right? So like that way, you can define your own and or conditions to save the data while writing into the Google BigQuery. Masking setting is basically allows you to mask the certain values in your column. It can be email IDs, it can be regular expressions you can define, or it can be entire string. Now this will going to replace the particular character with the star. Replace all with the star or mark with the star. So it will like at the rate gmail.com. If I say that after at the rate mask all the characters. So if gmail.com is having a 5 or 6 characters, then it will say star star only 6 times. But it will replace the character with the star. We have options called as a column hashing. In this hashing, the entire word or the numbers will be given with some random the hashed values. It can, your number can be 16-digit credit card, but then your hashed value can be 20 characters, 30 characters, like that. So this is the difference of that, the hashing and your masking. Transfer data and column setting is one of the important things which we prefer you select always to add in a data this column, because after the column, which is you can see over here in the table, which is opportunity table, extremely right, it will add the one more column by itself where it will add your date and time format. When this table or the row has been picked up, in case if any changes happens to that particular row, it will go and pick up the right data for that particular row or table. And that's what the CDC functionality is for that. And that's what I mean. This is a very important feature for you to go. If you have not selected, probably it will not identify that when while picking the data from the source and it has written to the Google BigQuery, what time it has written that particular, the row, and if there is any changes, it might not be able to identify the problem. So that's where, I mean, it is good to always select that. Regular expressions is basically is to, when you want to replace a particular character or replace the particular word, like small characters, small case to the, uh, the caps letter kind of things, you can provide the regular expressions. And what is this regular expression? If people do not know, it takes you, just click on the help icon. It will take you, okay, so this is yeah, so now this is translated back to the English. Now you can see over here, it's a details have been given. If you go to the official documentations, which we are using, basically it's a AMBulk tool which we are using for our entire platform. These are the regular expressions kind of things. It's a Java regular expressions, which is replacing basically the white spaces after the colon. It is replacing that with the, the given values. Similar way, I mean, this is saying the white spaces after the colon. So like that way, I mean, there are the Java expressions, are there multiple Java expressions for you people, I easily can understand. This is basically, it's a HTML tag to replace something, white spaces, like that. So if just do a little bit of small research on it, and then you will understand that what pattern you should put for the regular expression changes. Where is that? Hashing. Okay, sorry. Transfer column. Yeah, over here. So you put up your regular expression and then put up replacement string. How you would like to replace the string, right? Select the target and then put those things. I'll just show it to you one of the example in next question, in case if people may not have an idea that how to put that, I'll just show it to you. Column hashing, I already said. String conversion is the same way. I mean, in case of anything is space is there, then you can select that, you can put that the add conversion target and all. Unix time conversion, there are some of these still people who are whose applications are working on the or deployed on the Unix systems. It basically works on the Unix time frame, and if you have to pick up the data like that, it will be in some different time format. You can convert that Unix time to date and time with the timestamp method, or you can convert the Unix time to date and time, but while saving, it will save as a string, or you can do it as a vice versa as well, right? If all the above transformations are not good enough for you, that you think that no, there has to be few more transformations available, we have options called as a programming ETL. Select the programming ETL, write your own Python codes or Ruby codes. We support the latest -1 and -2. So Python 3.9 -1 and -2 codes will be, it will execute actually all the lower codes also, but then sometimes if the Python has deprecated those libraries, then it will not execute properly. So it's always recommended to go with the 3.9 or the latest 3.9 -1, like that. So you can import your own source codes over here. So what it does is basically it will run all the transformations activity what you have listed over here in a sequence. If anything is there, it will execute, and at last it will execute your Python codes, right? So let me untick this, and in case if I have selected anything else, let me untick filter settings. I don't have it. Okay, once this all transformation has been done, either you can preview the data and it will show all the transformations over here, or you can simply just click on the confirm. Okay, so string confirm. What is happening? Okay, anything is pending. Column settings is okay. Filter setting is okay. Masking is okay. Nothing has been there. Currently editing you changes will not be saved until you click apply. Okay. Okay, sorry. I clicked on it. It's running, still running. Since it's a demo environment, so probably some resources is limited. Let's just wait for a few seconds. You click on this, the next step, it will just show all the, the changes, what have been made over here. If any changes have been made, then it will show you that, okay, earlier one was with the red and the new one is with the green. And then just save it. You can give the change some details and all. Now your job has been created and saved. You've got the job ID. What you basically do is just go and execute first time, because just to make sure that whatever you have done, though it will do it properly because it is able to extract the data from Salesforce, and it has shown you the data in the preview also that all the transformation is working. But this job to work properly, it has to also write the data to your the destination. So just try and execute first time at least and see it is working. Now in this, okay, let me zoom it a little bit. In this, you can see, as I said earlier, every job, one container will come up. So here you can see there is one container image is coming up. And then it has started loading all the job what you have created. Mbulk is the one of the technology which we are using to orchestrate the entire things. And that's where, you can see all the plugins for the Mbulk is coming up. And then once it will, after that, it will show you that it will start writing it to that. So it is the output, Mbulk output is using to start writing it. It is just saying that get the table informations. If it is not there, then it will write the table. So these are the logs which you can refer easily, and that whether this job has been successful, not successful, or if any error is coming, it will tell you that, okay, yeah, there is an error. So now this is now committed. Next config differentiation, it will check and then it will start from the difference. And on the top, you can see that, okay, how much time it took it took 46 seconds time to transfer 31 records, and total size of the records is 13.7 KB. How many records have been skipped? Is the 0 records have been skipped. Can I go and verify to my Google BigQuery? So I believe you must be having all your test accounts ready for your AWS. You can check for the Redshift. Even if it is you have the Google BigQuery, also you can check for that as well.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. I can go and I can actually click on, I think I can, below I can go and I can click directly to Salesforce opportunity Google BigQuery over here target, or I can go to my Google BigQuery and I can put my Trocco demo, and I have given it Salesforce operating table 10, and I could see the details. Okay, yeah, this has been written just now, right? And it has written the 31 records. I can see the preview over here for all the tables. So this is the way. It's pretty easy. And now once this has been now verified, what I can do is basically, as I can go and I can schedule this job. I can schedule this job alone to run on a particular time, or I can make this job to be part of my workflow. So when workflow is running, it will execute this job, right? Let me go back and show the few examples. I wanted to show that because it's good to see that. Okay, so let me go and pick up this and show this MongoDB. I'm picking this MongoDB Atlas. I have this Atlas account with me. It's a free version of the MongoDB Atlas, and in database, they have created one dummy database. The moment you create the account, I think some dummy database will come by default. And there is one sample underscore mflix database is there. Under that, you have the movies informations. So let it load for the time being. Yeah. So now here you can see this Mongo. It's a NoSQL database, and it is storing a data like for every movie. It is storing data like ID, plot, and then there is a heading called as a genres. Inside that genres, there is a comedy, western, romance, caste, language. So these all options are available. In IMDb, you have a specific, another demarcations like ratings, votes, and IDs. And apart from and for every ratings, you have some values, right? So let's look at that in my MongoDB ID. Let me go and edit. So my source and destinations I have defined the same way, connections and everything in my since I do not know much on the MongoDB, not much. So I just selected that, okay, I need information of the ID, IMDb, and genres. And I've selected as a string. I'm not selecting anything over here. I just selected as a string. Let it fetch the data first, and then we'll see do the transformations. Destination is my Google BigQuery and everything. Let me give this as an okay, Mongo test 20. Same way, I clicked on the next. I'll skip this time to load the data because data is already loaded and for the preview purpose. Now here I have this data. Before this, the data to be loaded, let me remove this and then load. Review the changes. It will load the data. It will fetch the data, how it has been stored in Mongo. And then I'll show you the transformation because I always love to explain this feature, and because this is one of the tedious task for people to extract the data when it is coming in a JSON format. Though in my source, in my first step, I have selected the source as a string, but while actually fetching the data from my Mongo, actually it is fetching the data as a JSON. These are the JSON values. This is a string, but this is a JSON. If you wanted to fetch the data which is written in a JSON, though in my source I have selected as a string, what I can do is I can change it. Okay, so it's already selected as JSON. But if I have to extract the data as a JSON from rating, I wanted to see it for every moving. Only ratings will come, not the word called rating, not the word called ID, not the word called votes. If it is a part of the string, it will appear like this. So what you have to do is basically just go select the string to JSON, select the field called expand JSON column. Now it is showing you the example of like this. What you have to give is the date path. The moment you give the path is my ratings. See, just copied. I'm giving the path, but I want this to create as a separate column, movie underscore ratings. And I'm here defining ratings as a string or Boolean or long or anything. Let me give as okay, let me give it as a string only. Let it leave it as it is. And let me add one more column which I wanted to extract as the votes. I just copied the path. I'm giving a path name over here, and I'm giving the movie underscore, sorry, movie. Oops. I'm sorry, I clicked on the hit enter button. Okay, so movie underscore votes. I'm giving this as a column, right? And let's see. Now your data format. Okay, so this is loading the preview. It's old preview. I just clicked enter mistakenly. So it was showing you as a JSON. Yeah. So now see, it is started showing you. Okay, it has not started giving the name because I clicked on the hit enter button. So my new column has been created as a movie underscore rating, and it has extracted the JSON values. The new name for the I think it was what was that? It's a votes. So movie underscore votes, instead of that, it's just captured on a movie. So movie is giving the votes. So let me just make these small changes over here. movie underscore rating and movie underscore votes. And I also wanted to see my original column. I do not want only these columns to come as an ratings. I also need the my original column value so that I can tally whether it is capturing correctly or not. I can if you need that as well, you just select this field as well before expansion. JSON column values before expansion and see the preview. Now this will show the values which was before expansion. It will show the also values after the expansion, and it will now it has extracted all your JSON values as in a separate in the separate columns. And this is the one of the good feature when you are using any data from the applications which is coming via APIs, and it and APIs is giving the values in the JSON format. Now look at here. This was the earlier value. It was coming as an in every row. The rating word was coming, ID was coming, and votes was coming. In the new transform, which is created as a movie underscore rating, only the values are coming, and movie underscore votes, only the values are coming. And you can tally if it is the same, right? You can check on that, all those things. If it is something different, then probably, yeah, so it's the same thing. 646, 646, 9847, 9847, 7.4, 7.4. Let us capture the data. This is the one of the another way of the transformation. The rest of the things is the same. Just go and execute the job, right? Now I'll just go back to the ETL jobs, and I am just going back to one more job which has been capturing the data from my Shopify connector. I have it. So in case if you don't have that, you can just go and set up the dummy account in the Shopify. You can start extracting the data, dummy data from Shopify. In the same Shopify, it's a source is the same, defining the way is the same. I have not added anything. I've just selected only the order table data. I'm not doing anything. Order is any all those parameters. Same way I'm defining my, it is writing it to the my RDS instances. Okay, so when it is done, what I wanted to show it to you, I clicked on the next. Let me click on the next, and let me skip it. So here you can see the values which is available over here, and actually I did a one transformation on this job. Earlier the values which was coming as a small false letter, I changed it from small letter to the caps letter. And how I did it is basically while writing my data transformations activity with using the regular expression. And this is what exactly I was just wanted to showcase to you, that how you can use the regular expression settings. These are the some regular expressions which has been given by the Java, that how to use the regular expressions for replacing what type of the word, what type of the spaces or something. So like here, I mean, I've given a parameters as an the values which is false, and I've given a replacement string as an a false. Let's say, let me just cut this and let me delete this, for example, for a minute, and let's see what was the changes before that. If I don't do any transformations, how the false was coming earlier. I'll not take probably another 10 minutes just to showcase that the data mart and your workflow feature, because these are the only important things over there. The rest of the things, I think it's pretty easy for entire team members to just consume it. Maybe it's just drag and drop kind of things. I only need another 5-10 minutes time to explain you for the data mart, and then probably we can have the discussions after that. Now, you can see everything is coming as a small false wording. Everywhere you can see it is coming in the small letter, only except the currency and all. You can see all the false wordings is coming wherever it is. I'm slightly moving fast. Everywhere it is coming as a, your small letters only. When you have to do the transformations. If I just go to the extreme left hand side, so that I should not scroll too much on the right. Let's see any of the values which is buyer underscore except marketing, right? So let me first copy somewhere my code. Okay, this is the string I was using it. By the way, sorry, I'm not a much developer, so I used ChatGPT to show me that how to keep that string, Java string. Okay, so I'm just going and selecting my string conversion. I'm adding a string conversion. Sorry, not a string conversion. Okay, I was going to regular expression. I'm selecting my target column, and now I'm going and copy pasting my code to replace the false, and I'm giving the caps word over here, false. This is how it will do the transformations, and then say the preview changes. Filter string transform is invalid. Wow, that's good. Okay, so let it run. So it has not changed anything. Yeah, it has not changed anything. Filter setting transform. There is no filter settings. Regular expressions. Okay. Marketing copy. Okay, by the way, I can stop this. Okay, and go directly to this and say capital false. Yeah. So this time it will show the. This is the way, you can just keep on clicking and preview whether your transformation it is showing or not. And the transformation, what you can see over here, actually it will write the, while writing, it will write in the same way. Now here you can see it has transformed that the buyer accept marketing is small false letter to the capital false. Similar way, if I take the previous example, if the data is coming in the JSON format like this over here, right? Current subtotal price set, and you wanted to extract the data, you just give the path, and it will start creating the columns for you. So there could be a possibility where you will get these kind of the data when you have to pick up the data from the multiple, the API based application or web based application. There is a chances that you may get some JSON values. So you can actually extract the data from the JSON value. Writing the Python codes to extract the values from the JSON is a very tedious task. So with that, now I think the ETL option has been covered. You can check the manage ETL option. In the manage ETL options, it will not show you the data transformation page, because as I said, when you select more than one table information, it is very difficult to show you the preview of the data, what we have just seen it for the multiple ETL jobs. So in this case, the moment you select the manage ETL, you can select the multiple tables. Let's say if it is showing the 50 tables, after that you can select the tables, the number of tables whose data you wanted to keep it, and then it will directly take you to the take you to the save configuration page, and it will allow you to execute. Basically, this is telling you that you first save the data and do all the data transformation activity what you have just seen it in ETL jobs, what we have just seen it so far. And then what kind of the data transformation you can do after that, after saving that data to your destination on your data warehousing solution, is the data mart. In the data mart, I have the various table, the jobs have been configured. So let's say I just click on this job itself, which is basically it's doing a table joining activity. Let's see what it is doing actually. Let me click on the edit. Now here it's 2-step. In the ETL jobs, there was a 3 steps. Selecting the source and destinations, doing a data transfer, and then confirm and apply. Here it is only two steps. Selecting your source and the destination. It will be the remaining same. It is your data warehousing solution. So here I have given a name. I'm using, since this query is running on my, this is running on my Google BigQuery. So I'm using my Google BigQuery connection. And here, slight knowledge will be required for you for writing your SQL code. We have given the two options, data transfer mode and the free write mode, which will allow all DDL, delete, insert, and all the features. This data transfer mode is primarily works with the select statements. So here I have defined the select statement, select query statement, to merge the two table. One of the table name is Mayank Salesforce Opportunity 1. Second is the Mayank Salesforce Account Table 1. It is representing as an AC, AP, or OP, and it is merging and keeping it to the one single table. And it is writing only the few informations about the I think amount, probability, revenue, and the close date. Only few things it is picking from my all the tables. And the moment it has been you have written your own SQL query, either from taking help from the GPT or from by your own knowledge, something, just try and execute the preview. It will generate the preview whether this SQL query will run or not. Now this is merging the two tables, and it is showing you that after merging the two tables, how the data will looks like. And then rest is just go and schedule it. Now I'm defining it that same data set, my Trocco demo, and let's say if I say table 10, right? I just go and I'll confirm, since the two table information might be there in my Google BigQuery, and let's try and execute this job. The process will remain the same. It will create a one container, it will load the job, and then it will start merging the two tables based on your SQL query. Now in this case, the beauty of it is I am not logging in separately to my Google BigQuery account and writing the SQL query. I'm doing everything on my platform itself. There are the customers like since as I said, I mean we worked in the previously in the some data center company, Indian entity. There are the customer who outsource the the technologies to be handled by the partner, and partner may not give you the complete read and write access. Then every time logging into the Google BigQuery may not be allowed. But your connection, if the connection is successful over here, without logging into your Google BigQuery, you can test it out all your SQL queries over here. Now, this job is successfully completed, and it took only the 6 seconds time to transform 10,000 records, right? If I go back and check over here, probably I can see that. I mean, let me refresh it somewhere. How to refresh? So this is the way you can do a data transformations, activities, and every activity you can put up a scheduler, right? The moment you click on it, you can sync, and it will. Sorry, okay, it will. There is a scheduler. Get duplicate it and sync. Current time value is manually set and the set expansion individually. Like that way, you can choose your method for doing a syncing activity. Okay, so I hope this is there. Okay, where it is written. Check the dependency query. Okay, it's in the written project ID in the global demo data transfer my Trocco account. New Salesforce open Google query console. Now it will take you directly to this. Yeah, I think, see, it has taken me to directly to this data set. Salesforce, join table 10 and see the details when it has been created and executed. You could see all those things over here, right? And the preview, data preview would remain the same what you have seen earlier during the transformations time while running the executing your SQL query. So this is the way you can do the lot of the data transformations activity. Workflow feature is basically, okay, so let me just go back to workflow, create a new workflow. When you create a first time, again, everything will be empty, right? So just give the workflow name, is give any name, the purpose of the workflow, how many job execution you want, maximum concurrency is, I believe in my account, it is supporting maximum as the 10, but probably in your account, probably it may be more. Timeout settings, you want to enable or disable. In case if you want to enable it, you can say that, okay, cancel this job after so many times in case if there is a timeout is coming in. How many retry counts you want, you can define that as well. Parallel executions, enable it. Error handling, continue subsequent task on error in case if any error coming, whether it has to abort or it has to continue. So if you select that, and then it will continue. If you select that off, then if the error is coming, then it will not continue. The last is the same, is the same with the resource group, and then save it. Once you save this, the empty canvas is appearing. Now in this canvas, it's only, you can see only the start button. Now here, I have all the jobs which has been configured. I can select the any jobs. Add, and now my 4 jobs is appearing over here in my canvas. One of the job has been connected. If I need all the jobs to run sequentially, I can just connect it. If I want all the jobs to run parallelly, I can just select start and just simply drag and drop. If I need some of the jobs to run sequentially, okay, click delete. Okay, move this over here, just connect it, just to make it very easy. And then I want to get notified also. Okay, let me select one Slack channel, something, or test notification to my group, message, successful, something, whatever you want to write, any message. Now the Slack message has been configured. Just go and go to the right side, drag it, select it. Now I have configured my one of the workflow, which is running some 3 jobs parallelly and 3 jobs sequentially. Save it. What is that? Is there any jobs has been, okay, so everything is okay, so this job is left out. Okay, I can say, okay, this is done. Now the save option is visible. Save it. Now my workflow has been configured, I can define the execution. I can, if I want to define, if I have to execute one time, I can just select this thing, manually set. You can set the when you want to run it, set the your expansion values and all those things, and execute it accordingly. You can put the schedulers. Now the moment you put the scheduler, your every time the 3 jobs will run parallelly, 3 container image will come up, 3 jobs will be loaded, and it will execute, and it deletes the first 3 containers. It will create the another new fresh 2 containers. It will load the jobs. It will once this job is completed, it will delete these 2 containers, and then it will notify in the last. Similar way, you can, I mean, if I just go back to the edit button, sorry, let me go to edit, cancel, sorry, edit flow. If I go and edit flow, I can define my DVD jobs which has been configured. It will go to my GitHub repository, pull that code, and it will execute that code. Like this way, I can use my code execution over here. We have one connector for Tableau. here you can put the, some data refreshment for the Tableau dashboard and all those things, which will keep on happening automatically. You can put up some HTTP request for that. So you can play around with this, all the settings over here, what exactly you want to do with this. Let me just delete this thing for a minute and let me just click on save. So this is the way kind of the workflow. You can simply just go drag and drop, create it your own flow, and then schedule it. Data cataloging, as I said earlier, it will run only on your data warehousing solutions. So here I have a data cataloging configured for my, say, this Snowflake account, and using my pair authentication, it is refreshing over here. I can see all my details about it. I can see the table informations. It will fetch out without logging into my Snowflake. It will fetch out the Salesforce account table informations. I can generate the ER diagrams if anything's have been connections is made it properly, and I can put the column references for my metadata search and all. It's just taking a little time because I have very limited resources on my demo account. Let me click on the lineage. Lineage, as I said earlier, it works for your workflow datasets and the table workflow. Select the workflow what you have created. Oh, okay, so it's not showing. Okay, now it's showing. So we have just created a test workflow. Load the lineage. You can click on the view is horizontal or vertical. You can check if anything is append, replace, or merge activities happening or not. But this is the workflow which you have created so far, and it is showing you all the information about the workflow. If you select any data sets, let it load all the data sets. Global Salesforce demo, which has been created on my, okay, so let me see if I have my, loaded. Okay, so these are the demos in my datasets. These are the demos. Probably it has been created Salesforce, opportunity table to BigQuery, and this is what exactly I'm doing it. But there is no linkage, but yes, there is another one linkage below in the one of the things is where I'm writing it to the Google BigQuery, and then I'm doing one more activity is the table joint query, right? So this is the way, I mean, you can see your workflow. So I think I have now reached to the end of this my demonstration. And only one thing is my request is whenever you're creating any things, just make sure that wherever you're creating, just make sure that the 3 IPs what I have mentioned, right? It is whitelisted, because then things might not work. I mean, you may start getting some connections errors kind of thing. So just make sure that the 3 IPs are whitelisted. There are the various options are available for us. I mean, like for example, let me just click on to the MySQL. Let me go to the MySQL connection. See, we have the, as I said earlier, depending upon the nature of the application and the databases, that what a type of the authentication they provides. But in MySQL, we also allows to pick up the data in multiple ways, like normal connection via SSH, via AWS Session Manager, via AWS Private Links. Private link is available for all your AWS customers or all of your AWS accounts. You can create the private links. There are slightly prices wise differences, but people can choose the secure connection. People can choose via connections session manager. People can pick up the data via SSH as well, right? So like this way, you can choose your connections, but the importance is the IPs should be whitelisted, at least to get inside your the environment. And then you can choose the right method to pick up, whether you wanted to allow the database directly or you wanted to wire some the connections, SSH connections, or the some different way. You can choose those methods. Thanks everyone. Have a good day.